Hi everyone, it's Mrs McInnes here. Welcome to lesson 5 of our trig topic. So today what we're going to be looking at is the second of the rules in this topic, which is the cosine rule. So we're going to begin by looking at using this rule to calculate a missing side, and then we'll also look at using the cosine rule to find a missing angle in our next lesson. So for today, the rule that we're going to be using is given to you here in this grey box, and this is the rule for finding a side, and you do get given this on the formula sheet, so you don't need to memorise it. Obviously, the better that you know it, the quicker it will be for you when you're doing these questions, but you do get it on the sheet if you need to refer back to it to copy it down. So to find a side using the cosine rule, what we need to have is two sides and the angle in between those two sides, okay? So you'll remember that I'd previously mentioned that whether you use the sine rule or the cosine rule will depend on what information you have in your diagram. So when we were using the sine rule, we were looking at pairs of angles and sides where one piece was missing. For your cosine rule, it is two sides with the angle in between that we need for finding the missing side across from that angle. So let's get started with some examples here. So the first thing we'll do, as we do with all these questions, is label our triangle. So we have a small letter A already on the picture, so we're going to give the opposite angle here a capital letter A, and then the other two sides you can label as you wish. So I'm going to go for a B at the top, and then straight across would be your small b, and then the last corner would be a letter C, and then straight across from that would be your small letter c. So we need to have two sides with the angle in between, which is exactly what we have in this diagram here. We have our two sides and the angle in between, and the side that we're trying to find is the side straight across from that angle. So everything there is what we need to use this formula. So let's start filling this in. So we have a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. So b, our small letter b is 21, so we've got 21 squared. Small letter c is 18, so plus 18 squared minus 2 times 21 times 18, and then our angle A is 40, so times cos of 40. So this would be calculator, obviously, because we have to do that cos function. So you can go ahead and just type that in all in one go. If you have maybe a slightly older scientific calculator, you might need to do this in kind of two pieces. You might need to do the 21 squared plus 18 squared and get that answer, and then do minus whatever the rest of it is. But most scientific calculators should just let you type that in all in one go. So when you do that, you will get an answer of 185.87, and then it's a continuing decimal number. So I'm just going to do ... So you remember I've said this before, when you have a big long decimal answer, just write a couple of decimal places, a few decimal places, and then do ... to show that that is a continuing decimal answer. And then what we need to do is, because this is a squared, I'm trying to find the side A, so we would square root that answer. So again, I'm just going to write 185.87 ... So on your calculator, when you get that big long decimal answer, you would push the square root button and then use that answer key. So square root and then use that answer button, so that you are getting that full number put into your calculation, okay? Making your answer as accurate as it can be. So your final answer here, when we round it, I'm going to go for one decimal place, we're going to get 13.6, and your units here are centimetres. Okay, so it's a wee bit less working than your sine rule working, I would say, and it's very straightforward. So let's do another example here. So example 9, we have find the size of the side that's labelled B. So you'll remember I said just in the last example that for your cosine rule, you need to have two sides with the angle in between for this to work. So we've got 24, 13, but we don't have the angle in between those two sides. What that means is you'll have to fill that in first yourself. So all we would do is 180 and we would just take away those two angles that we have. So minus 84 and minus 32.6, which is going to give us an angle of 63.4 degrees. So that would be the angle that we would use in our calculation. Okay, so we'll go ahead and label our triangle. So we have got the small letter B already there, so I'm going to go for a capital B at the top, and then the other sides you can label as you wish. I'm going to go for A on this side and straight across my small a, and a C on the other side, and then straight across a small letter C. So your formula, you will need to make it fit your question. Okay, so similar to when we did your area of a triangle, and I had said make the formula fit the question that you have in terms of the letters. So we're going to do that here. So your formula on the formula sheet is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. But in this case, it's not A I'm trying to find, it's side B I'm trying to find. So that will be the letter at the beginning of your formula. So if I rewrite this to fit my question, I'm going to have B squared equals, and then it'll be the other two letters. So A squared plus C squared minus 2 times those for two letters that I've just written there. So 2 times AC, and then it'll be cos B. Okay, so the angle should always match the side that you're trying to find. So it should be a B at either end of this formula, and then the other two letters in between. So now that we have made that fit the question, we can go ahead and start filling it in. So B squared equals, so small letter A is 13, so we've got 13 squared plus my small letter C is 24, so 24 squared minus 2 times 13 times 24 times cos of angle B, which we've worked out to be 63.4. Okay, so we're going to type that into the calculator. Hopefully your calculator will allow you just to do that all in one go. And again, we're going to get a big long decimal answer. So 465.59 ... which means continuing, and then the last step would be just to square root that answer, because that's b squared and I need b. So 465.59 ... and when you square root that answer, you're going to get an answer of, I'm going to go for one decimal place, 21.6, and the units here are meters. Okay, so what I would like you to do for the questions today are these ones here. So page 31, question A, B, C and D. And then I've chosen some from question 2, I, J and K. Those three should be the ones where you need to fill in that angle between your two sides first before you go on and do the question. So I've tried to choose questions that are going to be similar to those two examples that I've just done there for you. So if you need any help, I'll have the live call open on the Teams page. If you've got any questions, you want to come on and ask me anything, I'll be there for the period. And as usual, can you mark your work from the back of the booklet, take your pictures and email them across to me so I can keep track of how we're doing through the topic. All right, thanks for listening, guys, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.